that attitude is as important as IQ.
Yeah, I know. I read something like that. Someone brought it to my attention.
Ah. And so when I read those two reports, right, it brought something to mind. Hear this, and for the listening audience, you will find a man graduate from university and crying he can't find job. He even goes to his church or the mosques and meet the imam or the pastor and pray with them. Pray with him. Because I need a job. Pray with me. And he gets the job. Guess what happened? He should be at work at 8, he comes at 9. When he should be leaving work at 5, by 4, his desk is already clear. When he's given a task to do, he comes with excuses. Those attitudes will not take you far. You may have the academic qualification, but your attitude will undermine your own life. So when we think more of IQ, let's also think about attitude.
This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5, a teaching moment for all of us, I believe. And these individuals then exist in a society called a country. The growth and development of nations is dependent on the individuals that live there, on their intellectual capabilities. Because IQ, put together with all other things, is about solving problems in different ways, whether you are an engineer or whosoever. And according to that study, the advanced countries have people on the average who are thinking and performing better. We all know what our problems are. For example, I was talking about the issue of the president from Barbados coming and everybody else laughing at the government. Oh, facing country. And you read about the country, you realize you as a country helped them in the past, but they are doing better than you now. Why not nurture that kind of friendship to inspire you to learn from what they're doing, like Singapore, Voodoo, and all of that? How can a government inspire better thinking within the population in terms of the decisions we make, actions that we take, what we want to do, so that we have a society that is thinking more growth and development?
Number one, in the report, it clearly says that IQ is the ability to perform. One way the government can inspire positivity is to perform. I don't believe that somebody should be allowed to preside over an institution for 2 years without showing one tangible result. These are things that make people not to be inspired. When leaders don't perform, it creates anxiety in the population. When leaders don't perform, it leads to issue of no trust. When leaders don't perform, it creates an environment of non-performance. It flows from top down. And one of the things you have to understand about this is another way you inspire people is to focus on people-centered programs, projects, and results. If people begin to see that the interventions of government are in their interest, they get inspired, they get motivated. Look, I'll give you this example. In as much as some of our brothers and sisters were vexed with the police for putting the no-go zone in place, do you believe that even motorcyclists are now appreciating the fact that they have a country where there's also a no-go zone and that there's sanity? For how long, how many years red light was a no-go zone? No go. Like you could literally not pass through red light. Now you have people, I drive through red light every day to come to work and go home. Through red light. So when you begin to take actions that benefit the population, you inspire hope. When you begin to develop programs and deliver those programs that impact lives, you inspire hope.
National decision making, resources. We have the human resource. You've spoken about how the resource needs to be developed, but the decisions we make around resources and how their proceeds will benefit the society. Should there be an improvement there?
I think there should be a very huge improvement in terms of how the resources benefit the people. I am one person who still believes that we can decentralize taxes, services, and development if we think of it critically. Now, I see LRA is doing some work around awareness campaigns about taxes in the different counties, which is good. For how long will we not delegate some authority and responsibilities to county systems? We have them on the books, but we are not delegating. We speak of decentralization, but in actuality, we run a centralized system where we hold all the power in Monrovia. And you cannot influence communities by holding the power. Number one, they believe you don't trust them. Number two, they believe that you are the only person who makes decision, and your decision is from top down. That their say doesn't matter. So, from a national perspective, we need to think of leadership as a people-centered approach.
Do we have the right people there with the right IQs for leadership?
That's another thing, right? I don't have any test to measure people IQ who are in public services, but you can know by some of the decisions they take and the inactions that exist. You can know that they are a wrong fit for the job. The other thing we need to do, we need an education revolution. An education revolution that starts from the early years. And the Unity Party platform had in it that they would endeavor to make early childhood education free and compulsory. And I hope it's something that they still will do. I hope they will do it. Universities. I see some degree programs that are obsolete. Like the same curriculum from 1986 is being used in today's world. Times have changed. Skilled labor demand, market demands are changing. Some roles are becoming obsolete. New roles are being identified. What system do we have in place for universities to upgrade, continuously improve, and ensure that the programs they provide are relevant skills that the market needs? The last time I checked, there was a mismatch between the products we produce and the skills that the market needs. There has to be a marriage between the two. And regrettably, you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't have the skill set to lead that kind of revolution, or the skill set to be able to look at a university curriculum and first do a research of the market, generate evidence that will inform the revision of said curriculum, it becomes difficult to do.
All of these put together, is it the reason we vote the way we vote and some of the people that we vote for?
Julius, I'm telling you, the way we vote, it's predicated upon the condition we find ourselves. One voter said, we know the people will steal the money, so the one who can let's take it from them when they want our vote. So when they go there, they can eat their own. You see that mindset?
Resignation to everything.
So there is no thought of holding people who were elected accountable, right? There is already an acceptance that when they get there, they will steal. They will take for themselves. And so that's how people vote. So people demand what they want during campaign, and they vote the people and say, y'all go take your own. When you're finally taking it, y'all will come back to us. Y'all will get our own. But also, the intellectual capacity to rationalize who to vote for is another problem. A person sitting down in their home has not eaten all day. A politician come and give them one bag of 25 kg rice and tell them, you know, I'm here, I will do things better for you. Julius, by the time that man is able to get that rice and start to eat, his mindset starts changing immediately. Maybe the man will do better. Why? Just on the basis of that very, very limited social need, people make decisions.
His name is David Woods Besa, Bishop, the senior pastor of the Tower of Faith Church of God there in Stephen Tobo Estate. He's a global education expert. You listen to him, different countries he's working with. Sadly, we've not used him much. We're only using small. We've not used him much. Hopefully, we can make use of him, because when he goes to those countries and they say he's from Liberia, they can think it means that your country is doing very well. Yeah, that's what they can say.
I was in Lesotho, and we were working on the curriculum, and they were always like, when there is an issue we identify, they were like, how do you do it in your country? and sometimes there are good things that we've done in Liberia. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
We've done some very good things in education, right? We've instituted some major policies, right? We've instituted some major reforms that needs to be implemented. So when they ask about those things that we are doing well, I tell them, you know, this is working, this is working, this is how you do it, and this is how you institutionalize reform, this is how you engage policy makers when you need decision at the highest level in favor of education. We give them those ones. But in areas where I know we're not doing well, I always use other countries as an example instead of Liberia.
Okay. His name is David Woods Besa, 777-700-995, 555-995, a high level on these issues. I'm also talking with someone else to bring him in on Thursday from another perspective. We'll continue to do this to inspire change in our country. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening,
Yes,
Julius.
yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Julius, thank you for having me on your platform. I'm just mind to let you know of the intellectual clarification of my full thing, and I'm poised to call this evening to make a point. Let me say good evening to your studio guest. I listened to him physically. I think I learned some issues, especially children who have not been prepared from their childhood, you know, even displaying a brain graphic, you know, or someone who may have been given full attention to. But then, you know, yes, I appreciate him for this. Our problem in this country, I think, if I was asking if someone knows how to do something, that person doesn't do it, do they have a low IQ? I ask this question from a perspective of a particular demographic that I think some of them are the sole problem of this country. Some of them, I don't know if education will be compared to an IQ, but then the intellectuals will have to distinct IQ from education, because some educated, like you try to outline in your first presentation, Barbados and that of Liberia, a country with a low population, but then you see the literacy rate is about, I think you said 90 or 99%. I follow you. So then these people are making tremendous changes in the country. Our problem here in this country, where most of our people have gone to the U.S., they have got a whole lot of education. When it comes to give them public offices, they try to use the education to marginalize other people. So I think the problem of this country is, like one of your color were trying to give the people a name, but I think the country is suffering from schizophrenia, according to feel the floor of woman.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks so kindly. Let's take other people. We can continue you on and on. Benjamin Yeager says a BBC research shows that a person who reads one book every month beginning at the age of 18, by the time he or she will be in the mid-30s, that person will be at the top of their career. Ish Gabriel Seo, thanks for the education, sir. We need people like these in our society. Charles H. Paul, the Encyclopedia of Logic and Wisdom, is making the case. Hope the government incorporates such an astute statesman in our education sector for transformation. Paulu Gioson Henderson says, please bring your guest back for a second time. Okay, this person got it wrong. Yeah, Edward Colley, 1,000 LD for elementary school. If this is not free, then I don't know why it is. I think the problem is time we gave them. No, he said pre-primary. The primary you're talking about, it is different. Okay. Let's take this one. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Big King, calling from 6th Street.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank your guests for the education this afternoon. Chairman, we salute you. It should be a continual process, not only going out to go work for yourself, but you should be able to educate the people, the children of Liberia. That is my point. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes. It's pleasant good evening. Yes, it's pleasant good evening. How are you doing, Julius?
Go ahead.
Okay, Julius, and for the name and impact of the for political apostle, and I call from district number 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat on the bishop there. The bishop is one of ours, and I hear from the Church of God, and I'm the youth director of the church. Last year, we invited him on our conference. He taught us wisely, and then we learned from him. So that means he's a brain, he's a blessing to this nation. And so I just called this evening to just appreciate him, and then we look forward this year again because we have him our conference. We'll be able to invite him again. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so kindly for your call. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Jason. How are you?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
This is Mohammed Gifta, member of the Shura movement in Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
I want to commend you and the studio guests. But one thing about our leadership in Liberia, people not really prepared to go into the leadership. Because if you are really playing well, what to do when you ascend, it can be very easy for you. Because you see some leaders around the world, how they're doing their country. You see, just sincerity, be satisfied with what you're getting and serve your people the right way. And the studio guys saying that people holding money in election period, people are being elected in the country. Some of them, they are the cause most of the time the people do what they are doing. If you are going to represent your people in the legislature, the right way, it will be motivation tomorrow. People will really fight to make people to represent them the right way. But whenever we go, we stand on the line, and my brother will vote for the people. Sometimes when they go into that place, they do what satisfies them. That's the hope of the country and even the people. It's why some people, they do that. But for me, I vote by my caution and for my country. I not vote for money. And if we continue to do that, one day Nigeria will be a good person that will be able to serve the country and the people. So let me commend your civil guest for Liberia. We have to really keep on doing the right thing for ourselves. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so kindly. My own big brother and Allah, big brother Julius. Once again, the name remains Cabinet S. Fofana, and I do join in the conversation from Clarendon. Big brother Julius, let me first take this time to extend my thanks and appreciation to your studio girl. He has said everything well, and big brother, trust me, all of what he just saying in your studio, these are things that the rescue regime is working on, right? When it comes to early childhood and education,
we as a government, we are taking it very serious. And let me just draw your attention to something.
And what are you doing about it?
So that what I'm saying, gradually that we have put mechanism into place, and you can
What
see
kind of mechanism?
Big brother Julius, let us go forward, right?
Yeah, Upa, you always like going forward. When you tell somebody you say you should explain, then you won't go forward. Why you not explain, you won't go forward?
No, big brother, but you know that I have control over what I think. You my big brother. I
No,
trust
but
the
man,
ability.
that thing that lead that other one there. You saying the rescue government doing something about early childhood? What particularly is the government doing?
Okay, so big brother, when you shall leave from the studio, I will phone you and we'll discuss that.
But why you can't discuss it for the people hear you, the public listening one year, then you won't phone me privately?
No, big brother, because of time, let just go first, all right?
No, but that's the most important thing. What is the government doing about it? Tell us. You going? Okay. 777-700. I'm gonna squeeze in one more. 555-995-995. The numbers to call. Okay, that phone went off. Welcome, let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon to your studio guests.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Anthony Frank Suko.
Go ahead, sir.
Call you from Kingsdale. Let me thank your studio guests for the deliberation. I really enjoy him, but I just want to ask him a few questions. In our Liberian society, we have people who bring brilliant ideas. They have all the different creativity, the different innovations. When it comes to practicality, they are far. What is he doing in terms of having an ECE school, early childhood education school? What is he doing by having a center that will help train young people? I'm talking about practical hands-on experience in terms of matching his innovation, creativity with that experience that will help move our country forward and bring it for the much.
Okay, thanks so kindly. We'll go back to him.
Okay. And I think the last caller and the first caller made a similar point. The first caller was like, if someone knows to do something and they are not doing it, do they have low IQ? And I know whence that question comes from. And it's like, okay, you are in the studio talking about all of this. What have you done? So, in Liberia, first, let me say, I started lecturing the university at age 26. I lecture at AME University. I lecture at UL. I was the youngest chair of the Department of Sociology at AME University. I sat on the faculty senate at the time with Dr. Levi Zanga and Dr. Jim Belmani. We basically led some of the major reforms at the university. And a transition into education systems where I worked within the education sector of Liberia for nearly 10 years. And in those 10 years, we were very instrumental and had the opportunity to have worked with about 4 different ministers of education, where we supported, along with many others, the current education law that we have and the roadmap to implementation. It's sad that that education law has been aborted even before it went into effect. The intersectorial ECD policy that we have now that needs revision, we contributed towards that. And some of you who listening, you've heard about school grants in school. When we were at the ministry, we designed the school grant programs for Liberia and started distributing the first school grants in Liberia. And under our watch, 2,700 plus schools received grants. That was validated by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Honorable Amara Kone. I hope he's listening, he can validate that. And at that point, the government even decided to contribute funds beyond the World Bank GPE funding. I also presided over textbooks and supplementary readers for schools in Liberia from grade 1 straight to 9. And in 2013 and 14, we did a nationwide distribution. Since then, we have not had textbooks for that level in the country. Before I left the ministry, I basically thought to give back, and with the support of the former Minister of Education, Honorable George Werner, we were instrumental in designing the school quality assessment system for Liberia. That's currently with it. And another thing that we led in the sector was to establish the first school leadership program within the ministry. My thinking was, I asked the minister, I said, Minister, we have teachers. We have teacher training institutes. But we require principals in our system. But we don't have no institute to train principals. People become principals because they were teachers. And school leadership requires certain skills. So with his approval, we designed the first school leadership program. That's what we've done. Now, when he talk about what are we doing to have institutions to train people, maybe I will want to table that and say there is another day I want to come to talk about that. We've been investing in that for the last 8 years. We are almost at the point where we want to do an official launch. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag before the day.
Okay.
So whatever we have said here are things that we have done.
Okay.
In Liberia, out of Liberia, and on the global scene.
Okay. Bishop Woosbesa, thanks so kindly for accepting our invite. We look forward to another one.
Thank you, Julius. And thanks to the listening audience. Thanks for giving me your time and attention. And I hope to engage with you in the near future.
That's how we go. The OK Conversation will be back here on tomorrow, bringing you more. We are out. The news